You hear in the intro, what are your emotions right now? The question for Coach, and I think we're going to dive into that before you know it here on the Barry Alvarez Show on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and 100.5 ESPN. Good evening, everybody, from Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton, alongside Rose Bowl champion, the all-time sack leader, the UW Athletic Hall of Famer, Tarek Saleh. No Derek Engler tonight. He is on assignment for this week. He and Tarek cannot be in the same room at the same time, evidently, over the last few weeks we've learned. So you guys take turns who's here on the show and who's not. My name is Jesse Nelson. Joining us remotely, the legendary former director of athletics and head coach at the University of Wisconsin, Barry Alvarez. And welcome in to the Barry Alvarez Show. Coach, hope you had a great Thanksgiving weekend, enjoying Jake Ferguson and your Cowboys, getting a big win over the Chiefs on Turkey Day, and then a great weekend of football all weekend long.
We watch a lot of football. Cindy and I start first game. When they start at 11 in the morning, we go till they're over. Yeah, it was a great weekend, and with the Badger win and Jake winning, it was topped everything off. It was great.
Well, Coach, he played great. I mean, he almost had that catch in the back of the end zone, which was pretty cool.
That was.
Yeah, he's playing at a high level.
Yeah, we've seen it all season long. He's been tremendous, and I know many fantasy football owners around the country enjoying the level of play that your grandson has been showcasing this year with the Dallas Cowboys as well. We only wish that level of offense that Jake Ferguson has shown would translate to what the University of Wisconsin's offense ended up looking like throughout the course of this season. The regular season is in the books. Wisconsin falling 17-7. And losing Paul Bunyan's axe again, second time in 3 seasons with Luke Fickell as the head coach, that Wisconsin has lost the axe game to the Minnesota Golden Gophers. We're going to look at what this means for the season as a whole and have some big picture conversations in the weeks to come. But, Coach, to start off, let's talk about the game on Saturday. Wisconsin falls 17-7. It was snowy. It was, quite frankly, not the most pleasant and enjoyable watch for fans who like to see the ball being moved and fans of the forward pass around the country. It was aesthetically pleasing. It was very fun watching a snow game. It was great. Wisconsin's offense was very lackluster, though, in the loss to close out the regular season. What stood out to you from watching the Axe game on Saturday?
Well, you know what? When you play that late in the season in Minneapolis, outside, your chances of getting that type of weather are pretty good. And if you didn't have the snow, it'll be bitterly cold anyhow. So you're going to get that, and you have to play in it. I loved when they played their home games in the Dome. That made it much easier and much more comfortable. But, that's a game. It's a rivalry game, and you anticipate both teams going in fired up, giving their best shot. I think Minnesota did. Don't think we did. I didn't think we played particularly well. I think the final score showed that. But, we talked about it last week on the show. Early in my career, I didn't realize, I just prepared that for that game like any other game. But it's a rivalry game. And if you don't put extra into it and let your players know how important it is, you're in trouble. And that's what I kind of sensed.
Yeah, this game was perfect for us from a weather standpoint. I mean, we needed nasty weather. I mean, I think, especially so they don't get the ball over the top on us and we're not on the field too long. We play better, and because our defense is our asset,
our strength,
our
right?
Strength.
Yeah,
and to play to that is for us to run the ball and for us to play nasty defense. And we just. Our offense is just struggling, and turnovers. You can't have those turnovers. We missed a lot of guys that were open, and then we just couldn't control the ball, and then they wanted it more or whatever. It was their day. It was a tough loss. I saw Jackson Aker catch that ball.
Amazing catch at the end.
It was amazing. They showed some fight, but in the end, they took control of the game.
They sure did.
You know what, Tarek? You the first thing you said was the most important: turnovers. The turnovers killed us in that game. That's going to be a close game. Both teams are evenly matched, and when you turn it over and you give it to your opponent with the field position that we gave it to them, you're pretty much eliminating yourself. It was we shot ourselves in the foot time and time again.
Turnovers 3-0 in favor of Minnesota. Wisconsin with all 3 turnovers in the game. And, of course, that sometimes the formula is that simple. I think you guys both hit it on the head. Because Wisconsin's turnovers came at costly moments, too. They were a couple of drives into Minnesota territory, and if they were able to come away with points or even flip the field, you would have felt differently about how that game might have played out because it was such a defensive struggle on both sides. It's not like Minnesota's offense was, running laps around Wisconsin on Saturday.
No, we took the ball on our side of the field. We had 90 yards or more sometimes to drive. They were taking the ball in plus territory every time. When you go back and look at that game and look at starting field position, we had a tremendous disadvantage throughout that game in field position alone and hung in there, which tells me if you're just playing the game, bang and punch back and forth, if you move the ball a couple first downs and punt it, they do the same thing. We're in good shape. We're as good a team as they are. But you can't start 90 yards away every time and give them the ball in plus territory. It's just, you can't do it.
It's that.
And win.
You know what, Coach, we talk about it every time. We have the 7 areas that we talked about when you were as a head coach. And I know that Coach Fickell has his metrics and, field position, turnovers, time of possession, stopping the run and running the ball 30 times or more so that we control the ball, we control the run. And all those I assume they didn't win any of those high metric areas that you try to measure. And, that's how you win the game, and Minnesota controlled all that.
Minnesota takes it 17-7 on a snowy Saturday evening in Minneapolis, and that means Wisconsin finishes the season 4-8. So we spent a little bit of last week talking about the optimism, having won 2 of 3 against top 25 teams, and very outside chance to try and make a bowl game at 5-7 and what that would mean. Well, all those hopes are gone. That is done. Wisconsin will not be in the postseason. With a 4-8 record, the season has come to its end. I described it the other day to somebody as maybe the world's worst roller coaster season for Wisconsin football. The way it started, and some of the lows were very low, and then a few highs toward the end, and then it ends up being kind of at a low point again to close out losing Paul Bunyan's axe. We'll talk about the season as a whole in a moment. Coach, first, losing the axe for the second time in 3 years under head coach Luke Fickell. I know you didn't lose the axe that much. What do you think it means for Wisconsin having the momentum throughout this month of November with the 2 big field storming wins against the top 25 teams in Washington and Illinois, but then ending on a sour note here, losing the way they did to Minnesota?
Yeah, I don't, I'm not at practice every day. All I can do is judge on what I see during the game. But they certainly didn't play as well against Minnesota as they did the 2 previous weeks. They were playing good football the 2 previous weeks. They did not play good football. They were loose with the ball. They were sloppy with the ball. You turn it over 3 times or whatever they had, and then you don't get any. That's a disaster to start right there. But I'm disappointed they didn't play well because they had really been playing well the 2 previous games. And when you play in a rivalry game, that's when you want to showcase your talents and play your best.
And they did not do that, Tarek.
And as I look at it, these last 3 games, I looked at it from the beginning of the season. I understood that there was going to be challenges against those top 20 teams. And then I was just hoping that we were not going to be so beat up, and especially after the Maryland game, like we weren't going to win any games. And then to beat Washington and then beat Illinois, that was really good. That was really good. And then with the chance to beat Minnesota, I thought we had a good opportunity not to do it, even though we did compete. But again, we talked about this all year. We don't come just to compete. We come to win. And I know it's really disappointing to the team, the seniors, and to the coaches, but there are things that they did well, and that they came with those wins. I think there was hopefully an identity or something that you could hang your hat on that you carry into this season, and then let's just get back to work. We got to get to work right now. and we could talk a little bit more about recruiting and about what's going on. But we need to get let's get out of the social media. I've seen some of the feedback from some of our former running backs, who talked about, listen, we don't need the social media banter. We need to be focused, and we need to be all in on getting better every day, and that's how you're gonna build this program back up.
Coach, understanding you're not with the team every day, where do you think this leaves Wisconsin football heading into this offseason at the end of the 2025 season?
Well, I always try to look at things in a positive way. I think we did a lot of things well. Sure, we allowed some games to get away from us, but I go back to the games we won when we beat two ranked teams, and I'd really take a look at how we played there. And that would be my emphasis in the out of season to our team. This is how we can play. This is what our expectations are, and go from there, because they're capable of doing it. And now it's the coaches to hold them accountable, and strength coaches in the off season as they go through things, and then go through spring. Spring will be very important to build your foundation for the following season. But they did a lot of good things, but you couldn't sustain it over a month, So you got to go back and figure that out, and how they can sustain what they're capable of doing.
Yeah, now you talk about the spring. I'm excited to see Carter Smith, the young quarterback, get some work. He didn't get a lot of reps this year, and for what he did, I remember when I was a freshman, I was playing quarterbacks a whole nother level, but I missed a lot of things that, looking back, when I was a sophomore, looking back, going, wow, I could have done this, I could have done that. I know this spring will be a huge, huge opportunity for Carter to get better, and he won't miss those open guys as much, and he's going to be great. Now the question is, how do we handle recruiting in the portal and putting trying to get another guy who's a number one? Well, you have a number one, and while you need to let him develop, and then how much you're going to invest in that other quarterback. So that's going to be interesting, that dynamic. I think our offensive line obviously needs to be reinforced, and they're going to have to bring a bunch of guys in. To take a tackle and put him at center. Think about that.
Yeah.
Our center was down. That was catastrophic.
Yeah.
And then that kid came in. God bless him. He did great. But we need to reinforce that. We need to continue to improve that defense, which is great, right? So now we probably have to have a lot of resources towards offense. Keep the guys we have on defense that are there, and you see where we could grow and get better and become more consistent. It's a great opportunity, but it's still a big challenge with NIL and recruiting. I don't envy their
But you know what, Tarek?
Yes, sir.
Everybody has the same issues. It's not like we're working on with different rules. Everyone has NIL issues. Everyone has transfer portal issues. It's up to our guys to figure out how to manage it, and look at our situation and take advantage of whatever we have and whatever our situation is, and figure out the best way to manage it, because no one's going to feel sorry for you. Hell, everybody has the same rule. It's the same rules for everybody. So figure it out, with our situation as it is, and go get it done. That's the way you go about your business in college football. No one feels sorry for you, man.
I don't know if we needed a pep talk going into the offseason, but I feel like we just got one from Coach there heading into this. I'm fired up to see what happens now for Wisconsin football in this offseason. We're going to talk more about Carter Smith, more about the offense, and kind of look back on the 2025 season here coming up next on the Barry Alvarez Show on ESPN Madison. We are at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton in Coach's room. Coach, we miss you here. We wish you were here with us, but we understand you're away having fun. I like the Christmas tree in the background there, by the way. That's a nice touch here.
I did that just for you guys.
Season. Oh, appreciate that.
Thanks,
Thank you, Coach. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. You want to talk about holiday parties? You want to talk about some gatherings this time of year? Maybe a nice gift for someone special in your life for a night out. When you want a night out that really sizzles, you come right over here to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. Whether it's a special occasion, date night, or just because you deserve it, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse serving up USDA prime steaks cooked to perfection. Pair it with world-class wines, handcrafted cocktails, and the warm, welcoming service that makes every visit unforgettable. They are truly awesome here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. Make tonight and every night special at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. More looking back on the 2025 Wisconsin football season with Tarek Saleh and Coach Barry Alvarez. I'm Jesse Nelson. That's coming up next on the Barry Alvarez Show.
Don't touch that cocktail.
I'd love to coach a game like that.
Oh,
They
man.
may not see a pass in the second half. I'd run that clock. That game would be over. We'd be home having cocktails at 3:30.
Coach will be back after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Want to move better, play faster, and compete at a higher level? Train where Wisconsin's top athletes go. Total Athlete Performance. From middle school phenoms to the pros, TAP is Madison's #1 destination for speed, power, and athleticism. Their proven systems, expert coaches, and cutting-edge equipment help you dominate your sport. Can't make it in? Train anywhere with the TAP mobile app. Spots are filling fast, so don't wait. Visit tapwisconsin.com to schedule your free athletic assessment today.
We love the Packers. We bleed green and gold. And every time our team takes the field, well, it's pure football bliss. If only there was a way to experience that blissful winning feeling every day. At Associated Bank, we've got you with 10% off Lambeau concessions and 15% off Pro Shop merch. All when you get Packers checking from Associated Bank. It's how Packers fans keep winning on game day and every day. Associated Bank, Bank of the Packers. Learn more at associatedbank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
Buying a new vehicle should be exciting, and that's what Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb aims to do. That's why they vow to give you the better buying experience. Jim Rutledge here. I've had 3 better buying experiences at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb, and I keep on going back because the experience and the Chevy is fantastic. So if you're looking for a buying experience, you're going to want to repeat anytime you need a new or new-to-you vehicle, I recommend you make the short drive out to Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb because you're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Want to join the fastest growing home solar company in the nation and work in the fastest growing industry in the world? Everlight Solar has open positions in the Madison area and in their newly open Milwaukee location. As Wisconsin's largest home solar company, Everlight Solar offers great opportunities to gain new skills and advance your career. Don't miss the chance to join the Everlight Solar team. Visit everlightsolar.com to apply today. Save money, save the planet, and start with Everlight Solar.
It's all about the green and gold and nonsense on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
We're obviously discussing this Green Bay Packers team and the inconsistencies, and if you believe that it's fixable in the middle of the season,
hashtag Team Kyle. I saw it on YouTube. Hashtag Team Kyle. I love it.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. Presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. It's not just a slogan, but the way of life at Gruber Law Offices. If you've been injured, call our team today. We've represented tens of thousands of injured Wisconsinites for more than 30 years. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
This is Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, letting you know that Siding Unlimited installs Pella windows and doors. That's right, Siding Unlimited installs windows, and we do it really well, earning the prestigious Pella Platinum Premier National Certified Contractor of the Year award 5 times. New windows, our expert team will deliver on a smooth, hassle-free installation, making you feel proud of calling Siding Unlimited for your window project. Looking for new windows and doors? Visit sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
Buying a new vehicle should be exciting, and that's what Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb aims to do. That's why they vow to give you the better buying experience. Jim Rutledge here. I've had 3 better buying experiences at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb, and I keep on going back because the experience and the Chevy is fantastic. So if you're looking for a buying experience you're going to want to repeat anytime you need a new or new-to-you vehicle, I recommend you make the short drive out to Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb, because you're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
As a single mom of a young child, I second-guessed if college was even doable. But I'm so glad I didn't let that stop me. At Madison College, I'm getting the support I need, and the advisors have helped me every step of the way, including navigating admissions and the financial aid. My advice to others? Do this for you. There's more to your story at Madison College. Visit madisoncollege.edu to get started.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Barry Alvarez Show on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and on 100.5 ESPN, alongside UW Athletic Hall of Famer Tarek Saleh and the legendary former head coach and director of athletics Barry Alvarez. My name is Jesse Nelson. We're at Ruth Chris Steakhouse in Middleton, and our show is also brought to you in part by Neutral. If you're looking for the tastiest hard seltzer out there, it's got to be Neutral Vodka Seltzer, made with real vodka, real juice, none of the fake flavor stuff, and it's smooth, refreshing, and just plain good. You got flavors like pineapple, watermelon, orange, and lime, so whatever your vibe, there's Neutral for you. Perfect for tailgates, hanging with friends, watching the game. Keep it tasty with Neutral Vodka Seltzer. Neutral. Keep it tasty. Enjoy responsibly. 2025 Anheuser-Busch Neutral flavored vodka and carbonation, 4.5% alcohol by volume, St. Louis, Missouri. So we look back on the Wisconsin football season, guys. 2025 in the books. The Badgers finished 4-8, and they certainly had their fair share of turbulence along the way. Tarek, I don't think you know these numbers yet, so I'm going to quiz you real quick. There are 136 FBS Division I college football teams. Do you know where Wisconsin ranked in total offense, meaning yards per game, among the 136 college football teams in Division I FBS?
I don't know those numbers, but I imagine they're in the bottom 25%.
They are.
Is that a nice?
They are 135th out of 136.
Yeah.
Averaging a little over 250 yards a game. Of the 136 FBS college football teams, where do you think the Badgers rank this season in points per game? Points per game.
Well, I hope we're like 120. I'm going to guess.
Also 135th out of 136. The 0-12 UMass Minutemen had a worse year on offense than the Wisconsin Badgers. And besides that, there was nobody who had a tougher time moving the football and putting points on the board than Wisconsin. So the question is, why is that, and is it reconcilable for next season, Tarek?
Well, my defense there is that, both, the second and first string quarterbacks injured. Left tackle moved to center. The center was done. Running backs injured. Running backs, were struggled.
They were down to a third and fourth string running back there, and Gideon Atuka was the fourth running back on the roster.
So they were decimated with injuries. they were also, I think, they were heavily invested in the defense. You only had so many resources, so they invested in the defense. The offense really was a kind of a victim of all the resources going to one side of the ball, in my opinion. So they struggled, but it's not a good excuse. But that's my half glass full approach, Coach. It's just tough to explain that.
Coach, I know you're a defensive guy.
You're asking me?
Well, I know you're a defensive guy, but I mean, hearing some of those numbers and knowing they're second.
But
to
I was a
last
head coach
in the
long
rankings.
enough. I know that you have to score points to win games. I do know that. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I do know you have to score some points to win some games if you want to win some games. For Wisconsin not to be able to run the football, I go right back to the offensive line. You can recruit offensive linemen that are as good as anyone in the country right there in the state of Wisconsin. If you put an emphasis on the linemen in our state and you get 90% of them over a 5-year period, you're going to be stocked with good linemen. If you have a good offensive line, you have a chance to win whoever you play against because you can hang on to the ball. You can shorten the game. It's just that was our formula for success there. And it starts with Wisconsin kids. That's the one thing that we can, we felt that we could do. Where are you going to get, we don't have a lot of skilled players. You're going to get a Michael Bennett. You're going to get a few players from the state are really, really talented that are skilled players. But for the most part, you're going to get 5 to 8 really good linemen every year. And if you keep 90% of those guys at home, you have a chance to win because you'll control the line of scrimmage, and it doesn't make any difference who you play. You can go up to Ohio State when they were ranked first or second in the country, and we're playing back early in our tenure. If we didn't beat them, the game's going to the wire because we could shorten the game by hanging on to the ball, running the football, and doing all those things. And if you can't hold up against us, we're going to whack you running the ball.
I'll echo that. I mean, over time, and I love a lot of our quarterbacks from a standpoint of, good guys, worked hard, but they were nothing really to, they weren't, it's not Terrell Pryor or,
they were responsible game managers.
Yes. And they were tough, smart, and dependable, right? As we talked about. But our offensive linemen were different because they were studs. They were grinder, you know what I mean? And they had the ability. So, these quarterbacks that we have are fine. If you bolster that offensive line, and even the running backs were okay. You know what I mean? I know they got hurt, whatever, but maybe they wouldn't have got hurt if they had offensive linemen to protect them. So, to Coach's point, and I don't care how much they cost, right? You put the money there. Put the money. There's a kid at Ohio State. There's a kid at Notre Dame. There's a kid at Indiana.
Couple of them.
There's a couple. But they're starters. Those guys should be starting for us, and they should be well paid, okay? And then what you got to do is, as much as it is, you got to kind of restrain yourself from paying for all the skill that everybody wants because you're putting your money in there, and then you put that badass running back there, and then you hang your hat on that. I mean, that's the only way that we're going to get that advantage.
So the question is, how quickly can Wisconsin turn this around on the offensive line? If we have identified now on this show, as we've said throughout the course of the season, that is where this whole thing starts. And then you can kind of work your way away from the ball based on what you want.
Now, that's our opinion.
That. Yeah.
Now, understand, that's our opinion. That's how we built our program in the past. My success, Brett's success, Paul's success, all started with the offensive line. I don't think anyone could argue with that. I'm not telling Luke what he has to do or what he should do. I'm just telling you, historically, when we were good and we were competing at a high level, it's because we had an offensive line that was probably better than most in the country. And then you play off of that. So let's go from there. That's our opinion.
And I don't think you're alone in sharing that. I think all three of us are in agreement. I think Derek's in agreement when he's here. And I think many Wisconsin football fans can watch this team this year and say, yeah, like the offensive line is not up to the standards that we would expect a Wisconsin offensive line to be at. It was evident in that Alabama game. The second that one guy went down, the whole operation kind of went up in the air, and it felt like it was playing from behind the entire rest of the season. So the question is, in this new era of college football with NIL, transfer portal, all that stuff available as resources for Wisconsin. We heard Ted Kellner on with Homer a couple of weeks ago saying he expects Wisconsin to go from the bottom third to the upper third of the Big Ten in spending in NIL money for next season and building the roster. Chris McIntosh has said they'd plan to address additional funding with the football roster. So can this get turned around for next season immediately?
Well, my opinion is, I don't know about next season making a 180 here, but I mean you could get significantly better. You've seen Indiana get a lot better, but you got to come up with the formula that works for you. And Coach Fickell's had some time here, and then understanding now that he has these resources that are coming, I think he's going to have an opportunity to really improve this ball club because of some of the things that he's learned. And I look forward to seeing how that all matures. It'll be interesting.
To answer your question, yes, you can improve it tremendously in 1 year, particularly because you're getting veteran players. You have access to veteran players. Now, you have to select the right ones. You have to find the ones that fit into your program and going to fit into the team that you have, the team that you're going to build. And so, it's not easy. Just go out and let's go get this guy, and this guy. They have to be the right people. And so there's a lot. The onus is on the coaches to go out and study the guys that are out there. Who fits our profile? Who fits what you're looking for as a coach? What style of play you want? What their role would be? Whether it be, I don't know, you go out, do you expect the leadership role out of some of these veteran guys that you're bringing in? Or just a solid O-lineman or whatever position they play? So, you can turn around a team in a hurry now because you have access to veteran players.
Yeah, the coach's point reminds me of when we were here, we had consistent players every year. But every year we didn't have the same success. We were successful. We'd go to bowl games and so forth. But that team chemistry has to come together. That team needs to come in. And I think Coach Fickell does a nice job going to Platteville, and that's really important to build that chemistry. So as much as it is bringing the right guys in and accepting the roles, those guys have to accept their roles. But then you got to bring that chemistry together, and I think Platteville is a great way to do it. I think Coach Fickell has the ability to get this done because of things like that he does to bring the team together. But it's a huge challenge in this era of NIL and recruiting and signing guys.
But you know what, Tarek? Everybody has the same problems.
Yep.
It's everybody's problem. It's NIL for everybody. It's transfers for everybody. It's we're not on an island that we have rules that no one else has. Everybody has the same rules. We have a great university to recruit to. I believe that. I believe that with 100%. My heart and soul believes that. And when I went out and recruited, that's why I can go into Connecticut and when I got a mama's boy who is trying to send him to Penn State and which is right down the road, that we could get him to our place because I believed in that. And so I believe we've got a great place, and our guys have got to go out and sell it. Sell it and recruit it that way. And win your state. Don't let those cats from in-state get away.
You can't say it any better.
The formula's there.
Every time I'm trying to figure out a problem and how hard it is, coach brings it back.
He's got it.
Everybody faces the same challenges. You know, they all have financial issues. They all have guys coming and going, and it is what it is. But that creates an opportunity because, you know, with Coach Fickell and his commitment, and with what Chris McIntosh and Ted Kellner was saying, hey, we're going to be in that position to be able to compete with anybody. So the opportunity's there.
Coach, I want to go back to something you said a couple minutes ago here. So you talked about the guys that are available in the transfer portal, and it can be whether you want to identify senior leaders or guys you want to compete for starting jobs. What if you were still doing it right now, and obviously it's very different than when you were the head football coach a number of years ago, what would you look for in the transfer portal from players as you're recruiting them to come and join the team?
I'd look for someone. I'd look for someone that would fit into our program. Someone that was not selfish. I need a tough guy. I need somebody that's going to be physical and likes football. I want somebody that wants a degree. And then I'm going to find somebody that fits the holes that we need to fill. I'm not just going to go out and take somebody. If we need a offensive tackle or two wideouts, you go out and study who's out there. You find the guys that are good people, interested in getting degrees, guys that are going to fit our program, and that's who you go after. It's not rocket science, but you have to believe, and that has to be meaningful.
So I know Coach, he came to my high school. He talked to the people in the high school. That means from the secretary to the principal to my teachers. They knew the character that I had, and how I respond, to coaching, teaching. Obviously, the high school coach was really involved. So you got to crank it up a little bit here with a transfer, and you got to go. You might have to go back to his high school, and then you might go to you might find somebody at the school. You might find different people and how he's connected. And hey, this kid he loves football, and if he loves football, they talk about care factor. He cares a lot, and this play, he's just not getting an opportunity to play or whatever the factor is. It's got to make sense to you, right, Coach? That this kid is transferring, he's leaving because the circumstances.
There's a reason why he's leaving. Yeah. Why is he leaving? If it's a bad fit, if the guy's a jerk, we're gone. If I go talk to a counselor and he's not interested in school, he's created problems in the classroom, he won't go to class, we're gone. We won't talk to him. We're not interested. So we want to bring in legitimate guys and guys that fit our profile. And sometimes you pass up on some really good players. People are saying, are you kidding me? He wants to come to Wisconsin. We're not interested. So,
Tarek, what did you order from Ruth's Chris Steakhouse? It was just delivered while Coach was delivering that great message. It is sizzling into the microphone. We can hear millions listening. Can hear your food sizzling live on the air.
Well, without Derek here, I got a big budget. I got a bigger budget here. I got lamb chops.
He got himself a ribeye. He got a ribeye.
The lamb chops is what you.
Coach, I got the lamb chops, but they're sizzling.
When we talk about sizzling here at Ruth's Chris, that was sizzling for everyone to hear. That was amazing. So I'm going to let Tarek enjoy. Chops. Yeah, we're going to let Tarek enjoy some of that food. It's so good.
Phenomenal.
So Tarek, enjoy. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation because I do think the money is a big component of this, and we'll talk about how the money is not only impacting the transfer portal for players, but of course what it means for coaching, which was the big topic of conversation this weekend down south. So we'll talk plenty more about that coming up to close out this edition of the Barry Alvarez Show, live from Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton on ESPN Madison.
The Barry Alvarez Show continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
What's new at Zimbrick Chevrolet? A lot. A free car wash with every service, plus a brand new detail facility to keep your ride looking fresh all year long. Relax with coffee and snacks while you wait, and if you can't, grab one of their numerous service loaners, take the shuttle, or even get a lift on them. Plus, Zimbrick Chevrolet has the largest new Chevrolet inventory in southern Wisconsin, and you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet. Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust.
This season, the Bucks are going for it all.
A game winner for the Greek Freak.
Go inside the team's pursuit of a championship on Locked In, the new season of the Behind the Bucks podcast, narrated by Bucks legend Marcus Johnson. Hear from the team stars on why they think they can make history. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck and Honey's. Celebrate the holiday season at the restaurant that won gold in Best of Madison. Enjoy seasonal dishes, handcrafted cocktails, and hospitality that makes every visit special. Planning your holiday party? They'll help you host a celebration that everyone will remember. Don't wait. Make a reservation today to secure your spot this season. Visit their locations in Sun Prairie, Monona, Wanakee, or Mount Horeb, and enjoy holiday cheer with great food and great company. I'll see you at Buck and Honey's.
I was afraid that college would be like high school. I worried about starting over and feeling alone. But I'm so glad I didn't let that stop me. At Madison College, I'm part of a community, and I've never felt alone. My instructors have been incredible, and I made so many friends and connections. My advice to others, don't let your fears stop you. There's more to your story at Madison College.
Visit madisoncollege.edu to get started.
Hold your friends close and your rivals closer on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Jesse's absolutely spot on about the band. It is cool.
Why? It's
fun
not
to
cool.
watch.
Just say you like it. It's not. There's nothing cool about the band. It is objectively not cool.
I find
you
it.
like it.
Okay, I like it because it's cool.
If you like the band, like it, but it's also not cool.
Jim, our show aficionado on what is cool.
Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Weekdays 4 to 6 on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Your seat at the table just got better. Step into the high-limit room at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. This is true high-limit play. Experience enhanced game rules, including blackjack where the dealer stands on soft 17. Better odds, faster play, and authentic action that sets Hard Rock Casino Rockford apart. Your next hand could be your best yet. Find your edge, play your rhythm, and raise the stakes in the high-limit room at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Let's hard rock. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
This is Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, letting you know that Siding Unlimited installs Pella windows and doors. That's right, Siding Unlimited installs windows, and we do it really well, earning the prestigious Pella Platinum Premier National Certified Contractor of the Year award 5 times. New windows, our expert team will deliver on a smooth, hassle-free installation, making you feel proud of calling Siding Unlimited for your window project. Looking for new windows and doors? Visit sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
Want to join the fastest growing home solar company in the nation and work in the fastest growing industry in the world? Everlight Solar has open positions in the Madison area and in their newly open Milwaukee location. As Wisconsin's largest home solar company, Everlight Solar offers great opportunities to gain new skills and advance your career. Don't miss the chance to join the Everlight Solar team. Visit everlightsolar.com to apply today. Save money, save the planet, and start with Everlight Solar.
We love the Packers. We bleed green and gold. And every time our team takes the field, well, it's pure football bliss. If only there was a way to experience that blissful winning feeling every day. At Associated Bank, we've got you with 10% off Lambeau concessions and 15% off Pro Shop merch. All when you get Packers checking from Associated Bank. It's how Packers fans keep winning on game day and every day. Associated Bank, Bank of the Packers. Learn more at associatedbank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
We're on the Badgers.
This is where probably the program mindset has to change.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
What we probably have to do is ante up for unproven and bet on future success, not on past.
This is 100.5 ESPN.
The Barry Alvarez Show continues on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton, alongside UW Athletic Hall of Famer Tarek Saleh and legendary former head coach and director of athletics Barry Alvarez. My name is Jesse Nelson. A couple of minutes left here on the show this week. We've covered a lot of ground, and we still have a lot to get to. So, Coach, I wanted to ask you a couple of quick non-football things before we get to the rest of the football conversation for the night. First up, Wisconsin and Marquette meet in their annual men's basketball game coming up this Saturday. It's in Milwaukee this year. My question for you, do you view Wisconsin and Marquette as a rivalry basketball game between the two biggest teams in state?
Yeah, I do. I think it's a game that's important for in-state recruiting, and it's a game that's played every year. It's a game that has history. So, yes, I do consider it a very important rivalry.
I'm glad you addressed that. It's oftentimes a talking point this week of the season when those two teams play each other, whether it's actually viewed as a rivalry game or not among fans. So thank you for sharing your input on that. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about. I love your opinion. That's why we're here. That's why your name's on the show. Other thing coming up this week, Wisconsin volleyball hosts the first and second round, should they win in the first round, of the NCAA tournament. They have reached the Sweet 16 every year that head coach Kelly Sheffield has been the main dog here in Madison. What can you say? I've asked you a couple of times about Badger volleyball throughout this season. What can you say about the sustained consistency that the volleyball program has shown after all these seasons, continuing to win in the postseason?
Yeah, the job that Kelly has done is just phenomenal. He was, I hired him. He was very unique in the interview. He has been outstanding every year since we hired him. His recruiting has stayed consistent. If we have good girls in state, he gets them. He finds, he recruits nationally, but he's on the cutting edge every year. So proud of him.
You can't just drop that
I'll
nugget.
share one question. I'll share one story with you. During the interview, I said, is there any difference between coaching men and women? He said, absolutely. I said, well, give me an example. He said, well, if I went into a men's locker room and I said, you know what? A couple of you guys are holding this team back. You're not giving us 100% effort. You're not doing what we're asking you to do. If you don't pick it up, we're going to struggle as a team. Everyone in that room would know who the two guys were. If I did that same thing in a woman's locker room, every woman in that room would think I'm talking to them. I thought that was pretty. I thought that was very, very insightful. I've never thought of that. But obviously he knows. He knows the difference in how to manage women's athletics.
And he's been so good at it for so long. And Wisconsin volleyball hosts Eastern Illinois in the first round of the NCAA tournament on Thursday night. Should they win, they would get the winner of North Carolina and UTEP on Friday night. You can listen to every match of the Wisconsin volleyball NCAA tournament run here on the ESPN Wisconsin app and Madison's home of Badger
One of the
volleyball.
best spectator sports, women's volleyball.
Oh, Tarek, you're so
tremendous.
right.
I love going to the games. My daughter plays at A&M Corpus Christi down in Texas, and love watching the games. And Kelly does a great job, and so I can't wait to see how they do this year.
Yeah, Coach, how about that field house environment, especially for the NCAA tournament coming up this week? That's tremendous.
It's a perfect size because it's always sold out. And it can get loud. The crowd's right on top of you. No, it's a great atmosphere.
Absolutely fantastic. So, again, I wanted to get a couple of those questions in for you because I love hearing your opinions as the director of athletics in addition to being the head football coach, as we've talked to you all season long here on the Barry Alvarez Show. All right, so speaking of head football coaches, let's transition back to the world of college football where the big news story from the weekend, Lane Kiffin leaving a team that is going to reach the college football playoff in Ole Miss to go to SEC rival LSU, accepting the head coaching job, and Ole Miss's athletic director saying, we don't want you here for the college football playoff run with the risk of tampering with players and whatnot that he might want to bring just down the street to Baton Rouge. He says, go ahead, you're the coach at LSU now. They appoint the defensive coordinator to be Ole Miss's new head coach, and he will be the one coaching the team in the college football playoff, and everyone expects Ole Miss will be in that playoff. What stands out to you, Coach Alvarez, from that entire situation? It has just been wild following it along from afar.
Where is your loyalty? I have a hard time with that. I know, I knew his father was a coach of mine when I was a freshman in college. His father was one of the greatest coaches ever. I've known Lane for a long time. He's done an outstanding coaching job. There are some things he does I just don't agree with, and this happens to be one of them.
So if you were Lane Kiffin, if you were advising Lane Kiffin, you would have said, don't take the LSU job, don't take the Florida job, stay at Ole Miss and coach this team through to try and go win a championship.
If he wants to I'd have a hard time leaving a team. And I had opportunities. I had those opportunities to leave and go within the Big Ten Conference. I couldn't do that. I mean, I was loyal to the place. I asked my players to be loyal when I recruited them, their parents, the fans, and everybody else. Now, I can't turn on them and go and line up against them 7 months later and play against them, another team in the league. I had a hard time with that. I couldn't do it. He's a different breed of cat, obviously, and he's been around the horn. He knows it, but he's different. There's no loyalty there.
Coach, could he have said, hey, listen, I'm not going to consider anything until the season's over. If you want to offer me something, wait till the season's over. And I'm sure LSU would say, well, this is either now or never. We're gonna choose this guy. Then you got to make the choice, right? And then you basically go, hey, I'm going to go lead my guys to a championship, and we'll talk to you later.
And part of the story is Ole Miss wanted that too, because the early signing period is this Wednesday.
So they want to know where you.
They want to know this week where you're going to be, where your recruits are coming in. They want to get ahead of the curve, and they want to bring those guys.
The timing's terrible. Yeah, the timing's terrible. I always go back, where is the loyalty? You've recruited all the kids on this team and talked to them about loyalty and all these other things. Now you're bailing on them before a championship game? I don't know how you do that. That's beyond me. So I can't answer what he should do because he's in a different planet than I am.
So the sad thing here is that we all know that Lane is just going around to the guys that he likes and saying, listen, we'll pay you more. On his way out, not only is he leaving his guys, he's tampering with his guys as he's leaving. I don't know this, but this, I mean, come on.
You would assume you're going down the road where you have more money, theoretically.
Yeah, he's going after the guys that he wants to go after. And hence the status of college football.
So it's just a wild scenario to wrap your head around because you're trying to achieve the ultimate pinnacle in your sport, winning a championship, and you're bailing on your team that is one of 12 that has an opportunity to do that because you want to try and go do that somewhere else. It's like you're this close to the top of the mountain. You're saying, I'm going to go over here anyway and pass on that opportunity right now. I can't fathom doing that in any job, in any scenario. But at the same time, because of the calendar, and you mentioned that, Coach, that's what really messes this whole thing up because schools want their coaches in place this week because of the early signing period taking place this week before the end of the conference championship games and the end of the regular season in the college football playoffs. So if you were advising college football as a whole what to do in this situation, I would imagine you would suggest start with changing the calendar, right?
Change the calendar. Change the calendar to start with. You know, don't look like a bunch of barbarians. You know, I mean, come on. Let's be civil in how we operate our business. This is not a good look for college football.
So, and it's been this way for a while. How would you specifically advise? Like, where would you put everything after the season?
Yeah, I'm not.
assume?
You know, and I'm not sitting here looking at the schedule and all that, the calendar, when you can do that, when sign. I don't know all that anymore. I just know the timing of this is not good. But someone needs to sit down. I was on a committee at one time that did all that, but I've been away from that for a long time now. I can't sit here and tell you these are the dates because I'm not keeping up with it. It's their problem now. I don't have that problem. You know,
Well,
as a friend of mine once said, it's no concern of mine.
I'm going to pour salt in the wound here a little bit. You know, with what I've been hearing on the street. You know, is you have all these kids that are either going in the portal or considering going in the portal. What I hear is that they have representatives that go out and they're testing the market. They're going to different schools, like an agent, asking what their value is to consider before they go into the portal, and then getting a number, and then having it all set before they.
Oh gosh!
So I mean, and that is chaos.
Yeah,
I mean.
So if you're a star quarterback at Tarek University in the Sun Belt, and you had a great season, and you're a win away from the college football playoff. Your season's done. You had a great season statistically. You're a hot commodity. There's a bunch of schools at the Power 4 conferences that want to find you. So you have an agent going around to those schools asking, "What's my guy worth?"
Lane Kiffin himself has been admitted to hey, I got to get recruiting, and I got to figure out what's going on. And this is what they're doing. They have to go and figure out the numbers. Both for the school and for the player, you have a big number that you have millions of dollars at stake, and you got to figure out the budget and how people fit in and what your value is. I mean, so as taken back as people are in the public, it's just what it is. But this is why they need rules, and they need to have some sort of structure to this free agency that's off the charts.
It's wild that there's a sport that everyone is a free agent every single year, and that's essentially what college football has become.
And Coach, you got to recruit your own kid every year. You got to negotiate his number, right? And then you got to go recruit a kid or sign a kid. One coach once told me that we're out of the recruiting deal. We're signing guys. Everybody's a free agent now, so we're not even using the word recruit. We're signing kids. And so we got to sign the kids on the other rosters. We got to sign our own kids, and this is what everyone is dealing with. The coaches. You said everyone has the same rules, right, or same issues, and here we are.
Yeah.
Well,
it's never stopped.
The good news is we're going to have a few more weeks to dive into how we would fix that with the Barry Alvarez Show as we continue here into the holidays.
Yeah.
So we'll have a lot to talk about.
Steaks and
yes, cocktails. All the good stuff. So our show is not over just because the Wisconsin football season is over. We will be here next Monday for sure as we recap conference championship weekend, signing day coming up here on Wednesday. So plenty to talk about as we get into next week and in the coming weeks as we count down to the college football playoff, whether Lane Kiffin's a part of it or not.
I'd love the Badgers to be a part of this, but this is these weeks to come now are great weeks of football. These championship games are going to be awesome. Be a lot to talk about.
Tarek, what do you think of that Ohio State-Indiana
Oh,
matchup?
my gosh, what a game.
I think it's a great game. I think that, Ohio State they're just unbelievable with talent. But Cignetti's got this Indiana team. They got dudes, and he's got them. He's got that toughness. That it reminds me of what we did here, and also Coach Western Pennsylvania. I think
he's a Western PA guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the intangibles working and that chemistry working. I'm really excited to watch that game.
What do you think of the game, Coach?
You know, I was just talking about it with some friends today. You know, I really like this Indiana team. I've never been a big fan of Ohio State because I've always felt like they've had access to the best players. And they may have the best players again, but I like the way this Indiana team's playing. I think they're tough. I think they can beat Ohio State. And really anxious to watch the game.
We're a little over on our time, but what the heck? We got a couple minutes here. So, Coach, I wanted to ask you this because you've been on the College Football Playoff Committee before. We're going to talk more about what that experience is like in the coming weeks. I thought last year the College Football Playoff format was great. And I felt like I was on an island as the only person who thought that winning your conference title was the key to getting a first-round bye to be one of those top 4 seeds. And it ended up being a chaotic year where Boise State was one of those teams. Arizona State won the Big 12 with a couple of losses. They ended up getting one of those first-round byes. And then there were some better teams meeting in that opening round, like Ohio State and Tennessee. I wish if that was still the format, number 1 versus number 2 in the Big Ten Championship this week would really mean something because you're playing for the number 1 seed no matter what in the playoff. The other team has to play an extra game. I feel like that's not going to be the case this week in Ohio State and Indiana because they changed the rules this year. The loser is just probably going to get the 2 seed or maybe the 3 seed, but they're still going to get a first round bye, so you almost don't want to show everything to the other team, and the game loses value
you want to win
because of that.
No, you want to win. You want to win. You know, you do everything you can to win that game and win the Big Ten championship. Nobody's holding anything back. And anybody that does, they got problems.
So even with the risk... Sorry, Coach.
You turn it all loose. You want to win the Big Ten championship. That's your first goal. And then you go from there. You're not worrying about seed or what you're going to show to play in the playoffs. That's the last thing on your mind.
Okay.
And in my opinion, I'll follow suit with Coach on this. Listen, if you hold back, you're going to lose your momentum. And everything's about chemistry and coming together at the right time. This is the right time to come together. And if you take a step back at the right time, you get your ass beat. Whether it's it'll probably be in the playoffs where you'll lose. So if you don't continue to put the pedal to the metal, you're gonna get your ass beat.
Well, we'll see how those two teams come out and handle things on Saturday night.
One thing I like that, Coach. I know, Coach, you've been of whatever the scenario was. I think Coach was a fan of college football, and when we had 2 teams, 4 teams, 8 teams, Coach, you always loved the conversation, and it was good for college football. Is that a fair statement? That you like
regardless of the format for the championship?
Yeah, because you were like I remember we talked before. Like people would love to have 32 teams in a playoff. Where like we don't need that. You don't need that. And I'm crying uncle on 12. I'm good on 12. But before you were like, no matter what it is, as long as we're talking about college football, and people love the game, and we do.
Yeah.
That's
make it interesting, make it fair, and if they keep talking about it, it's good.
That's right.
I don't care if it's one game. I don't like committees deciding who's going to play the 2 teams that play for a championship. I like a playoff. How many teams? I don't care, but it's good. The longer they play, the more you talk about college football. Great. If you want to shorten it up to 4 teams, that's fine with me too. 8 teams, 12 teams, I don't care. College football is good. And as long as people are talking about it and it's visible to them and available to them, it's wonderful.
We'll dive a lot more in next week to Coach's experience on the College Football Playoff Committee and what they decide here for the 12-team format, which will be unveiled this coming Sunday. Can't wait to dive into it as we continue on with the Barry Alvarez Show here in the coming weeks. Coach, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it as always.
Always fun, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Have a great
Tarek
night.
Sala,
Thank you.
Derek Engler,
Thanks,
Barry Alvarez. My name's Jesse Nelson. Thanks to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Thanks to you for coming along. This has been the Barry Alvarez Show on ESPN Madison.
Want to move better, play faster, and compete at a higher level? Train where Wisconsin's top athletes go. Total Athlete Performance. From middle school phenoms to the pros, TAP is Madison's #1 destination for speed, power, and athleticism. Their proven systems, expert coaches, and cutting-edge equipment help you dominate your sport. Can't make it in? Train anywhere with the TAP mobile app. Spots are filling fast, so don't wait. Visit tapwisconsin.com to schedule your free athletic assessment today.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit condonjeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
It's all about the green and gold and nonsense on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
We're obviously discussing this Green Bay Packers team and the inconsistencies, and if you believe that it's fixable in the middle of the season,
Hashtag Team Kyle. I saw it on YouTube. Hashtag Team Kyle. I love it.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. Presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
One of the best things about the holidays is going home and spending time with family and friends. One of the worst things, getting there. Holiday travel can be tough, especially driving. If your loved one needs help after an accident this holiday season, we're here for you. Our top-notch team of experienced professionals is available 24/7. Be safe this holiday season. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Hi, it's Eric from Canopy Wealth Management. Our years of experience have prepared us to guide you through your life transitions. Our local professional team brings over 90 years of collective experience in the wealth management industry for the benefit of our clients. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started on your financial future today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
This is Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, letting you know that Siding Unlimited installs Pella windows and doors. That's right, Siding Unlimited installs windows, and we do it really well, earning the prestigious Pella Platinum Premier National Certified Contractor of the Year award 5 times. New windows, our expert team will deliver on a smooth, hassle-free installation, making you feel proud of calling Siding Unlimited for your window project. Looking for new windows and doors? Visit sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
When it's game day in Madison, you know what that means. Pizza Hut time. Unlimited large one-topping pizzas, just $7.99 each. Or your team at home can load them up with 3 toppings for $9.99. Perfect for kickoffs, watch parties, or that fourth quarter comeback from your living room. Fuel your crew, fill the table, and keep the good times rolling all game long with Pizza Hut. Order now for delivery or carryout at pizzahut.com or on the app. Pizza Hut. Feed good times.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road